Jimmy Butler has once again been suspended from the Miami Heat, this time around for 2 games. So Butler missed the team flight to Milwaukee, where the Heat play next. Butler said, yo, I'm going to catch up with y'all later. I'll be there by time the game tips off. Miami's like, that's not good enough. We fly as a team. Essentially, Jimmy B has been kind of going by the beat of his own drum for the last couple of months. He just got suspended for 7 games to kick off this year for conduct detrimental to the team. Essentially, Miami believes Jimmy Butler is pouting and frowning because he's trying to get traded. That's what it is. And Butler, who has a history of having very bad exits from basketball teams, realizes that the trade deadline is February 6th. And if he can't force Miami's hand to trade him before the deadline, then he'll pretty much be stuck like Chuck with Miami for the foreseeable future. I mean, it's a team that doesn't look like they're going anywhere. For Butler, though, I will say this. He is running out of options in the NBA. You know, you got to think every time he leaves a team, the exit is bad. Maybe Philadelphia would bring Butler back. But outside of that, any team Jimmy B's played on, it's ended abruptly and bad. This time around, Butler seemingly wants a new contract, a long-term deal with Miami at around $50 million a year. The problem is, at this point, he's 35 years of age. His best days are probably behind him. And Miami's like, yo, you want us to pay you top dollar when you don't play a significant amount of games in the regular season. Yes, you are playoff Jimmy, but the regular season matters. And I do believe Butler needs to be careful about his legacy, right? If you would have asked me a couple months ago, is Jimmy Butler a Hall of Famer, I would have undoubtedly said yes. Today, I don't know. You can't just keep crapping on every team when you try to exit. I get it. It's a business, but there is a way to be professional and go about this business. You are a professional basketball player, and your exits are oftentimes louder than your accomplishments in the regular season. And that's been the narrative of Butler for quite some time. He trying to get that bag. I ain't mad at him. He trying to get that bag. But we've seen guys get traded and not go about it the way Butler is pouting and being late. I ain't feeling that. And again, when we start having Hall of Fame conversations, media remembers these moments. And I'll take it a step further. What team will retire Jimmy Butler's jersey right now? If he retired right now, would the Bulls retire his jersey? Would Minnesota retire his jersey? Would Philadelphia retire his jersey? Would Miami retire his jersey? I'm asking you a question. Now, I'm going to throw out some trade scenarios that may entice the Miami Heat to make a move for Jimmy Butler. This is provided by ESPN. You tell me, which trade would you do if you were the Miami Heat squad? What makes the most sense for them? The first trade, should the Miami Heat do a trade with the San Antonio Spurs? Straight up and down. The Spurs would get Butler. Miami would get Harrison Barnes, Malachi Branham, Keldon Johnson, and a 2025 first-round pick with a lot of protections. A 4-team trade with the Mavs, Heat, Pelicans, and Pistons would see Jimmy B land in Dallas. The Heat would get Brandon Ingram, Najee Marshall, and Daniel Tice. The Pelicans could get Daniel Gafford, Dwight Powell, and Klay Thompson, which I just don't see the Mavs giving them up right now. The Pistons could get Maxi Kleber and a 2025 Dallas top 14 protected pick. How about this trade, which Golden State, Miami, and Detroit would do business? The Warriors would get Jimmy Butler. The Heat would get Kyle Anderson, Gary Payton II, Andrew Wiggins, a 2025 Warriors first-round pick, and a 2028 Warriors first-round pick, while the Pistons get Kevon Looney, a 2026 Lakers second-round pick via Miami. Here's a 2-team trade, Miami and Houston. The Rockets obviously get Butler, while the Heat get Steven Adams, Dylan Brooks, Jeff Green, a 2027 first-round pick with protections, a 2029 first-round pick with some protection as well. What about this trade where the Memphis Grizzlies land Jimmy Butler? The Heat would get Marcus Smart, Brandon Clark, John Contra, and a 2025 first-round pick with top 15 projections. The Wizards would get Luke Kennard and a second, and the Pistons would get Josh Richardson and cash. What about this trade? A 3-teamer with Miami, Milwaukee, and the Pistons, where the Bucks get Jimmy Butler. The Heat get Middleton, Bobby Portis, a 2031 first-round pick, and the Pistons would get Pat Connaughton, a 2031 second-round pick, and some money. And then we got another trade. This time Butler goes to Denver, where the Heat get Zeke Naji, Michael Porter Jr., a 2026 first-round swap, a 2031 first round swap, and then the Pistons would get Dario Saric in that one. We got a good old 5-team trade where the Suns get Jimmy Butler. Butler would go to Phoenix alongside DeLon Wright. The Heat would get Ryan Dunn, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, a less favorable 2029 first round pick, and the swap rights with Milwaukee. The Bulls would get Bradley Beal, a 2027 less favorable first round pick. The Bucks would get Zach LaVine, and the Wizards would get Marjon Beauchamp. And that's a trade I would do if I were the Miami Heat. Again, I don't see Bradley Beal, who has a no trade clause, signing off on that one. He ain't going to Chicago. I'm telling you that. Not midway through the year with them babies. He's got kids. It ain't happening. But that's the trade that I would do if you're Miami. It would allow you to get a really good player in this league, Bobby Portis. I watch a lot of Ryan Dunn with the Suns. He's got a lot of promise. Chris Middleton, obviously, he's not as good as Jimmy Butler, nowhere near, and he's washed to a degree. But you at least get some stability. You get a pick in there as well. I think I would probably center around that trade of the options. But if I'm being real, none of these options just sound great if you're Miami.